Serpentor, the most evil foe of G.I.Joe.
Hey, welcome to Half the Battle.
We're finally at the end of the last Sunbow miniseries. Today, we're taking a look at Arise, Serpentor Arise, Part 5.
Quick recap.
After 4 frickin' episodes, Serpentor has finally arisen and he's ready to lead Cobra.
Okay, that was a very quick recap, but you learned all you need to know, really.
The episode, surprisingly and annoyingly, does not start where we left off, in the lab where Serpentor has just awoken, but rather with the Dreadnoks who are congratulating themselves on having shot down the Joes, who they promptly run into inside the Terror Drome.
Does it ever occur to you there might be an easier way of settling disputes?
Shut up, Lifeline!
After taking out the Noks, we finally switch to the lab where Serpentor promptly tosses Sergeant Slaughter away. Feeling a bit nude, he's led to that gaudy uniform we all know and are forced to live with. Cobra Commander tries to make friends and influence people.
Of course, you and I know your primary function will be as a figurehead.
It does not go well.
Don't be so aggressive.
Yeah, this pretty much sets up their dynamic for Season 2, with the Commander kinda becoming Starscream to Serpi's Megatron. And I'm not just saying that because Chris Latta voiced both the Commander and Starscream. The Sarge goads the Cobra Emperor into a rematch, while pronouncing his name in a very weird way.
I'd like to see you do that again, Serpentor!
Destro and Mindbender are concerned that he is too impulsive, lacking the patience Sun Tzu's DNA would have provided.
I don't know about that.
Julius Caesar laid siege to the Gaul stronghold of Alesia for a month, and since Serpenti has his DNA, he should have plenty of patience.
Man, that was one hell of a nitpick, even for me.
He's also so vain he probably thinks this review is about him, and refuses help from others in the fight.
Sergeant Slaughter is mine. This I command!
This match is under false count anywhere rules, as it turns into a running battle all over the Terror Drome, and as one of Cobra Commander's funniest moments ever. Well, for me at least. Meanwhile, the Joes attack the command center to try and find out where the Sarge is. They shouldn't have bothered really, as both he and Serpentor show up like 30 seconds later anyway. This does introduce the Emperor to his troops.
Vipers, Crimson Guards, that is Serpentor, your new leader!
The fight continues, and Serpentor's brand new toy is immediately destroyed. While Terror Drome Mania is going on, the Commander has been busy reprogramming the Battle Android troopers, so they will attack both the Sarge and Serpentor. Never mind that according to the file card, Bats will attack anybody and everybody anyway. Maybe he just reset them back to factory defaults. Scrap Iron says he'll stop him, but is easily bribed. That guy does more heel turns than the Big Show. Speaking of wrestling lingo, Wetsuit and Leatherneck do a run-in when Serpentor tries to use a foreign object in the match.
Where's the ref in all this?
And it turns out into an all-out battle royal as the Bats show up Stone Cold style. In the confusion, the Joes managed to get the hell out of there. In the WWE, that would be a heel move, but I think this wrestling bit has run its course. Sometime later, the Joes are speculating that Cobra could be creating an army of super soldiers, or a brilliant leader, when Slaughter and his crew walk in explaining all about Serpentor. At the same time, the Emperor is holding court to unveil his plans for world domination, with everybody but the Commander being enthusiastic.
Okay, hold up, time out!
I did not leave anything out. It goes from the Joes going through the wall to these scenes. How did they escape Cobra Island, especially since their Tomahawk was destroyed? How did Serpi and the others beat the Battle Android troopers and find out the Commander was responsible?
Yeah, that's never shown or even explained in dialogue.
This is a 5-part miniseries where there is plenty of time to dig around with dead bodies, but apparently they still had to rush things, so they left out important scenes. Scenes that I would have liked to see. Yeah, maybe having Serpentor show up only in the last episode was a mistake since he has so much stuff to do. Anyway, he orders the invasion of the United States, and all of Cobra moves out. And if you look carefully at this scene, you'll notice there are multiple Grey Thunder machines. I'm guessing these were supposed to be Stinger Jeeps, but they used the wrong model. The twins try to tell him holding US territory would be nigh impossible, but he doesn't care. Also, the Commander is now in chains.
And again, that's not explained.
But I can assume Scrap Iron switched sides for like the 14th time, ratting out the Commander. Hell, maybe he even deactivated the bats. I guess we'll never know.
Cobra's been too quiet for too long.
How much freaking time has passed?
Between the missing scenes and this, I feel like an entire episode was left out. Anyway, just as Hawk is saying that, the invasion of Washington, D.C. has begun. They take over the Capitol, the White House, and the Pentagon fairly easily, which at the time in the 80s I would have said is pretty damn unrealistic, but a myriad of real-life events since then have me going,
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, it appears Cobra has won as the president is surrendering. A fictional president since he doesn't resemble any of the real ones. But it turns out to be Hawk in disguise and he's brought friends, so the battle for Washington is on. Hey, remember in episode 1 how the bats were unstoppable killing machines? Yeah, I guess they got nerfed pretty hard. Mindbender releases the commander since they need all the help they can get. Serpentor's chickens are coming home to roost as his troops are running out of ammo and the aircraft out of fuel, so the day is lost. And if it seems like I'm rushing through this battle, that's only because the episode does the same thing.
Get aboard! The last fully fueled Night Raven will take us to the Terror Drome!
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can all fit into one Night Raven. Those things are known for their large passenger space. Seriously, they should have just animated those large Cobra helicopters from the comic.
And made toys of them! Yeah, Haslop is gonna make a white his tank, but that cool helicopter, forget about it!
The Joes try to intercept them, but are stopped by a flamethrower.
Bring me the brave Viper who saved his Emperor's life!
Funny how you never know who your friends are.
Serpentor wants to leave the commander behind, but he points out he'll need a scapegoat for this fiasco, and the commander is just a snake for the job, so he gets to escape too. Seriously, where are they running to inside the Raven? This just looks stupid. And so the day is saved, and we end the episode, and indeed the miniseries, with the Joes saluting the flag.
The end!
And that was Arise Serpentor Arise Part 5. It was a good episode, but way too rushed of an ending. The takeover and liberation of Washington happened in like no time at all. Look, Arise is my favorite miniseries, I like it a lot, but it has one main flaw.
The pacing!
They spent 4 episodes. 4 frickin' episodes trying to create Serpentor, meaning they had to cram in his rise to power, his first operation, namely the attack on DC, and his first defeat all in one episode. That's just not enough time, hence the missing scenes. They should have either have him appear at the beginning of episode 4 and have that end with the takeover of DC, leaving episode 5 for the Joes to strike back, or they could have just made it a 6-part miniseries.
As for the miniseries overall,
I've mentioned this before, but it was nice to see Cobra winning and keep winning throughout. Yes, even the DC takeover at the end, and it was a unique way to introduce the new main bad guy. It's interesting that they saved the commander and kept him around for season 2, recreating the whole Megatron Starscream dynamic bit that I mentioned earlier. I think this was the right call, as I don't think the commander story was over at this point, not in the cartoon, nor in the toy line.
at last we did it!
We're finally at the end of this long journey. Thank you all for watching this 5-part review series.
And now I have to figure out what's next for the cartoon reviews. I'll think of something. Well, I'll see you next time, everybody. And hey, why not like, share, and subscribe if that's your thing?
Serpentor, the most evil